Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is Tuesday. Now, I was able to hang out with this wonderful gentleman all weekend. Wayne Breezy, how are you, my friend?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm doing really good. NBA kicks off today or tips off today, however it is you want to say it. Celtics Sixers, baby. I'm ready. Green, let's go.
I love it, man. I love it. And I'll say this, I'm a Mavs guy. I usually wait for the NBA to get involved until much later, once football season dies down. But this year, I think I'm gonna buck that trend. I'm moving up. I'm gonna be active in the NBA Twitter sphere, which I'm excited about. But more important than that, I'm very excited. Today's show, John and Wayne show, is going to be a little different. I wanted to take it from a Wayne Breezy is in charge of the 49ers. What do you change? They're 3-3. They're in first place. I just did a whole 49ers issues episode. But I want today's episode, Wayne, to focus on what would we change? What would we do differently if we could force the 49ers to do something different? So we're going to bounce back and forth, kind of see how that goes and trigger that conversation. As always, if you guys have comments, make sure to light us up. Clayton, supporting all the Warriors gear. I'm pulling Clayton in here. Clayton, you're coming in the screen.
Shout out to Clayton.
Look at this, dude.
We are. The
Look at
champs
this.
are here tonight.
You guys are the champs.
Let's go.
Sporting all the Warriors
champs
here. Absolutely love it. I will say that I do pull for the Warriors. They're my number 2 team, if that's a thing, but Mavs are my team. But I do like the Warriors as long as they're not playing the Mavs. But anyway, that's what we got. So here we go. Wayne, let's talk about this. I want you to go first.
Okay.
Because you guys lost the championship, the Celtics.
Appreciate that. You guys weren't even in the championship, but
we
it's
were
all
not.
good.
We were not. We were the final 3 teams, though, which is pretty impressive. We are representing NBA rather well. You got first dibs. Wayne Breezy, you can do anything. You can change anything that you want to change for the 49ers moving forward. What's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
I think the first thing that I would do, John, is I would hire an offensive coordinator. I think there's a lot going on with the head coaching position, just being in charge of everything. So when you're the head coach, you're in charge of this coach, this coach, this coach, this coach, this coach, this coordinator, this coordinator, this coordinator. Like you're just in charge. And it's one thing being in charge and overall and overseeing just about everything. But then when you're also the head coach and a coordinator, you're double dipping. And sometimes you're going to slack in an area. And I'm not going to take away Kyle being a great play caller. I think that's what he is. But I think he's not that great. He's not great of a head coach yet because he hasn't won anything. And I think it's fair to say that, right? He doesn't even have a winning record if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. Now, I think you start with the offensive coordinator and then you get on the same page. You get your offensive coordinator and your head coach. Being that our head coach is an offensive guy, they find a way to get on the same page. That's the first thing that I would do. When you look back to that 2019 team, even though Kyle was the OC of that team, he trusted somebody to run things a certain way under his regime, right? And so I feel like that team, that run, it was a better team than the 2022 team we're currently in. And if you start with the offensive coordinator, I know a lot of people want to turn off injuries and do that. You can't. It's football. Injuries are going to happen. Doesn't matter who's coordinating, coaching, or whatever. They're going to happen. But I think the coordinator would be a really nice breath of fresh air for head coach Kyle Shanahan. And it can be a little bit more creative and give these defenses a different look. And I think that's what's going on right now.
Man, it's interesting. Yeah, I just finished the offensive breakdowns, and everybody was open. You know what I mean? And I felt like Jimmy was throwing the deep ball very, very well. They just couldn't get out of their own way. I don't see a way. I'll say this. I think it would be beneficial to have offensive coordinator, but would you want Kyle still calling the plays? Because there's no way Kyle would ever give up the plays. Now, that's not the exercise we're doing here. Kyle's never given that up. But you would change the play caller or just
I would let's say you're Kyle and you're never gonna give up, but you trust me to give you these looks. Hey, Kyle,
Gotcha.
Look, if you do this and you do that, this can work. Get that statistics guy out of the effing booth and let's go with a play caller and a head coach that are on the same page. That's what I said originally. They just have to be on the same page. And sometimes, John, you check me. Sometimes I'm able to check you just to get not a check, but just to give you a different sight of a vision, just to say, hey, this will still work, but we could try it this way and watch. They won't be ready, Kyle. They won't be ready, John. That's what we need.
I love it, man.
A
Sean,
checks and balance.
Look at this dude.
On
Checks
point.
and balances. Yeah, I'm with you. And Sean picked mine. Okay. Sean says we abandoned the run game far too early. 100% correct. Shanahan has been notorious for this. Whenever he falls a little bit behind early, he just throws the run game away. So my one thing that I would change is I would, one, run the ball more often, but two, this is the most important part, give different players an opportunity to run the ball. Let's just say we're going to have 25 carries minimum, okay, for the 49ers every single game. That should be the minimum workload. We only had 16 versus the Falcons, which is a big reason why they lost. I would say, okay, here's what I would do with our current backs right now. Here's what I would do. I would do 9 carries. I'm doing this off the top of my head. 9 carries for Jeff Wilson Jr., 9 carries for DDP, 3 carries for Jordan Mason, 2 for Debo. That's 24, and then 2 more, 1 for Juszczyk, 1 for Tevin Coleman. I want multiple people touching the ball. I hate how he has this monopoly mindset that it just has to be this one guy. And I think that just is such a detriment. We have seen how explosive Jordan Mason is. He got 1 carry this year for 7 yards, and he never got another touch. I just don't understand why that is. We're up, what was it, 35-17 against the Panthers. He's still got Jeff Wilson back there toting the rock with like 2 minutes left. Somebody needs to be able to step in and say, look, this kid's going in, get him the damn ball every now and then. Needs to be happening with Danny Gray, too, in the receiving game. You need to be able to allow these younger, inexperienced, explosive players to showcase why the hell did you keep Jordan Mason on the roster? Why is he there? Why'd you do this? If you're not even going to allow him the opportunity, I just don't get it. Why did TDP play 1 snap and it was at fullback this week?
I don't understand, and I think that's because he doesn't have a checks and balance, right? He doesn't have a guy that he trusts their vision. With Mike McDaniel, he trusted him a little bit, right? He's been with them for umpteen years, and if Mike says, "Man, we could try this run it up," I guarantee you, we do this, it'll do this or whatever. Remember, he's our run game coordinator for the longest before he was even promoted to OC. So Kyle had trust in him. He doesn't know Anthony Lynn like that. Then why'd you sign him up? He's a former head coach. I got excited when we signed Anthony Lynn. Shout out to Juan. I got excited when we signed Anthony Lynn because A, we were getting a former running back. B, we were getting a former running backs coach. And C, you're getting a former head coach that drafted that mother freaker over there in Los Angeles, like that can quarterback his behind off if his weapons are there. Look, I don't understand why you don't use Anthony Lynn. At least utilize him. He drafted Jordan Mason. That's his guy. Let his guy play. There must be issues between communications with Kyle and Anthony, and that's why you're not seeing him trust these the coaching. That's the I'm doing a show about Kyle Shanahan and his issues within his issues. And it has something to do with his inner self. It has nothing to do with him coaching. It just has to do with him having different types of personality issues. And that could be what's holding back this team, because this team is talented. I've been getting in arguments about talent. So the one thing that I would do to go along with the next thing that I would do to go along with what you just said to piggyback off, I would unleash the mother freaking talent. Like, there's talent here, and we'll never know what they're going to do. Here's my thing. If Jeff Wilson Jr. is getting stopped up the middle, 1 yard, 2 yard, cool, fine. He's getting plugged. Put the bigger guy in there now that Jeff Wilson done kind of made a little space in the gap and let that big guy go get your 4, 5, 6 yards. Guys they've never seen before. We're abandoning the run in this game, and I know we're not supposed to be specifically talking about this game, but we watched him do this over and over again when he falls behind, is what's detrimental to this team. This is why the team doesn't win. The team isn't built to win with a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, if the team had a different type of quarterback, that's not Jimmy Garoppolo, and this is not a knock on him, but if they had a different type of quarterback, a la Aaron Rodgers, a la one of those Tom Brady guys, when you got a nice built team that can sit there and drive yourself down that field to get you in scoring position, no matter what time it's on the clock, to get the ball down the field accurately, whatever, that's different. But we're not built like that. We don't even have those type of pieces on the offense. We have yak guys. The key to having yak is getting those guys the ball quickly and opening space and letting them be your playmakers. We're not even doing that. And we did that in this past game. Then he went away from that. You liked his deep balls, pause, and I liked them as well, the passes. But those were detrimental because if you miss,
then you're behind.
There, okay.
And if you're not going to run it, then it takes it away. Okay. So you have to do one of these two things. Like if you're going to take deep shots and miss, that's okay. You can still survive. But if you're at 2nd and 10 and refuse to run the ball, you're almost always going to be at 3rd and 10 and you just can't do that.
John, that one drive in the second half. Let's talk about the 3 drops in a row. All right. 2 drops in a row. I'm sorry. Second half. We're gonna start with the Brandon Ayuk. That was a drop. I watched it. It's a drop. We watched it. It wasn't a bad pass. It could have been a little bit better, but it wasn't a bad pass, and it wasn't a deflection. Y'all were trying to tell me up and down that field. It was the ball was defended by Terrell. Fuck out of here. He was beat. Terrell got beat on that play. That was a drop. Ayuk dropped it, and then he said he dropped it in his press conference.
He did.
So y'all can kick rocks with that.
I do like timeout real quick. I loved how many players kept taking responsibility,
accountability.
Kittle, like I feel that's coming across, and I love that. Sorry, keep going.
Jimmy Garoppolo did too as well. And on top of that, the next play, the Ray, another drop, 2 drops in a row. Now we're 3rd and 10. You can't run the ball on 3rd and 10, John.
Nope.
You can't run. It's not smart to run the ball on 3rd. We don't have a Shady McCoy. He don't play in the NFL anymore. That's a Shady McCoy play. Quarterback draw, bump it. Everybody go down the field. Shady, can you beat 11 guys? Sure, I can, coach. That we don't have those pieces. So we throw on 3rd down. You got to check it down to Kyle Juszczyk, and it's short. And then we got to punt the ball.
Yeah, it's rough, man. One thing that was awesome. What's up? Shout out to Eddie Glover. Appreciate
Eddie G in the place to be.
Shout out to John Chapman and the Nitty Gritty Niners crew. Saturday night was awesome. My son and I had a great time. Hashtag 49ers Rush Road Trip. Man, I'll tell you this, Atlanta was great, man. And shout out to all your whole crew, man. Crystal, Fair, Mose, just incredible people. Man, we had a blast, dude. It was a good time hanging out with the people. The game was rough, but the community A+, man. A+. Yeah, we had a good time.
Both communities too, because even the Atlanta Falcons community, they were like grade A. Like, I'm like, what is going on here? You guys are the enemy. That's not how they treat us. They didn't treat us like that.
We outnumbered them in the stadium for sure. There were way more 49ers fans, and they were quiet. They were quiet the whole game until that 4th quarter. And then once that 4th quarter came, then all the the trash talking came out, which I respect. But they were quiet. They were quiet until the 4th quarter. And they came out. There's some respectful fan bases out there. There's no doubt about it. Raphael, I love the 8-bit graphic there. That is fire.
Nintendo.
He says like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. To both shows, not only a 49ers Rush, make sure you subscribe to Wayne Breezy's channel. Which he does incredible stuff over there, which is awesome. Now, okay, here we go. I think it's your turn, Wayne. Even though you just went on a rant, I did
go on a rant. Didn't I?
Liked it. I felt it.
My bad.
It was good. Back to you. I want you to focus on the defensive side or special team side.
Awesome.
You're in charge. You're the head coach / GM and owner president. What is something you would do differently?
I think you have to. All right, let me start here. Love the coaching, love the players, but there's some issues with a lot of injuries to certain key positions. And I think if the 49ers are are making that like, well-rounded wheel. They want to be able to plug in a player and just keep it spinning no matter who the player is. I think they got to get more talent out there. There's some talent that needs to develop, but I'm gonna be honest. If what I'm doing right now, if I'm owning this team or if I get to make the calls or shots, I'm trading for a defensive tackle right now. There are two guys that I want on this team right now. Love you, Kinlaw, but right now your availability is your best ability. You're unavailable. Okay. Love you, Eric Armstead, but your availability is your best ability and you're unavailable. I love what we've been seeing as far as the production from our depth, but they're not starters. That's why they're not starters. There's no disrespect to them. It's just that they're not starters, and it's okay. Some people are in this league. First of all, getting into the NFL is ridiculously hard. Becoming a starter is even harder. Okay. Now, I love our depth, Kevin Givens, Ridgeway, but they're special players. I say go trade for one of these two guys. We talked about this on Nitty Gritty. Shout out to I can't remember who brought this guy up, to Ron Payne from the Washington Commanders. That would be a defensive tackle. But my crush, my guy, my defensive tackle that I think 6'5", 320 pounds fits this defense. All right. We like the big, tall guys, John, up front. I don't know why. But my guy would be Derek Brown. The Panthers suck. They're going to be doing whatever they can to get rid of some players. I don't know if they gave him his contract yet because he's still in that Javon Kinlaw range. That might be a guy they're going to look to build. You might have to spend a little bit to get him. It's not going to be player for player. It's going to be some capital. If I'm not mistaken, that was a 49ers guy from the jump.
Would you trade? I think it'd take probably a second and fourth round pick for him. You would do that?
Why not?
So that means the 49ers draft this year wouldn't have a first or second round pick.
Who cares?
I'm just asking. I'm just asking the question.
No, you're right. But we don't even play them like we should. We're drafting players to develop them anyway.
He's developed.
Round. Okay.
Ask Jake Brindle, who's got his cleats all over his face.
Ask the guy that played for last week. Even though the Rams beat them, he was still having a game.
Yeah,
that's my point.
He's playing well.
He's shedding offensive linemen. He's grabbing them and throwing them down without getting defensive hold calls. He has the technique. He has the get up. And most importantly, he stays healthy.
There you go, man. There you go. I like it. Now, before I jump into my defensive one, which is going to be a little bit different than Wayne's, real quick word from our sponsor. You guys know what it is. It is winning season at MyBookie. As always, if you want to enjoy the football games, 49ers, or just NFL, or really any sport in general, you can bet on anything over there. MyBookie.ag. We've been with them for years. Very trusted site. Get your money in, get your money out easily. And on top of that, all season, double deposit bonus. Whenever you first deposit your money, let's say you deposit $250, you get $500 credited to your account if you just use our promo code 49ERS or scan this QR code right to the side of me if you're watching this on YouTube. And again, it just sets you up completely. MyBookie is incredible. Bet with us. We're on Patreon. We share our bets every single week, all season long. So join us, mybookie.ag, promo code 49ers. Bet anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. All right, my defensive adjustment that I want, it's a little bit similar to what I said on offense. I didn't even think about it till I was about to put it out there. You got to get Drake Jackson more snaps. He had 12 snaps. He played 12 out of 58 snaps, was the number one player from Pro Football Focus. In 12 snaps, listen to what he did. He had 1 pressure, 1 sack, 2 tackles, 3 solo run stops in 12 snaps. Why is he not getting more time? We have guys that can kind of do both, and I love Charles Omenihu probably more than anybody, but he played 41 snaps on the outside. Why is he take 10 of those snaps, send them to the inside, allow Drake to get more playing time? Like, I love the slow play. I love the fact that Drake's getting some work. He looked good. And
what are we afraid of?
I don't know.
What's the worst possible thing that can happen? Obviously, is an injury, but you can't play like that. This kid has been productive. He's tied for first and sacks as rookies. Like this, how is he tied for first?
Yeah.
How is Aiden Hutchinson, the number 2 draft pick, and the number 1 draft pick, was he a tackle or an edge guy too? Whoever it was, they're not even leading the league. This kid comes in, he's productive, he's speed on the outside, the long arms allows those quarterbacks. If he doesn't sack Mariota and get that tackle by the ankles, that's a big game.
Oh, yeah.
If we don't give Drake Jackson some love, some props, some trending up, some thumbs ups, some whatever, we're a problem. And most importantly, like you said, John, you got to get this kid some more snaps. He's developing, and how can he fully develop if you're not playing him? I don't understand what's going on. What's going on, Raymond?
And so, yeah, I want to talk about this Raymond comment here for a minute. But before we do, like, Samson Ebukam was injured, 3 times?
In that game?
You put him, he played right 47 snaps. Like, why not? let him chill out for a minute. Put in Drake Jackson, Omenihu on one side, Drake Jackson on the other. Let's see what happened. And you've got guys there. That's the problem. Like, I get it. And this isn't even a Kyle thing. This is not a Kyle thing. I know everybody wants to bag on Kyle, and he deserves criticism. But this isn't a Kyle thing. This is a Chris Kusarik, D'Amico Ryans thing, which they've almost had Teflon on them because they receive zero criticism. That's not really how I roll. Like, there's criticism that needs to take place. Do the 49ers have the best defense in the NFL? I think they do. The injuries aren't helping, but they're not helping either, because why is Kevin Givens playing 40 plays? It should never, ever happen. Why is Akeem Spence paying 37 plays? Should never happen. And so,
John,
you gotta rotate that stuff. Now let's get to this question. I want to say thank you, Raymond. Really appreciate the gift and super chat. That's awesome. He's got this comment. And I've seen this floating around on Twitter, so I want to spend some time here. Kyle is 0-24 when down by 4 points or more. Kyle needs to get some help. Teams have us figured out and offense is played out. Why can't we keep guys healthy? He who is a major issue. So let's talk about this. 49ers suck when playing from behind. Is that a Kyle issue? Is that a Jimmy Garoppolo issue?
See, I think that's more of the quarterback. It was a combination.
Right.
Because
both and.
Right. So your quarterback lacks that ability. That's number one. So that's why that's the Jimmy part of the issue, right? The second thing is it's the game plan from Kyle, and if he's unable to adjust, if he sticks to his same script, the quick throws, the 1 yard throws, this is that, and the third, boom. Now, you did see him fall behind and try to take shots down the field. But then again, you got to ask yourself, do we have the talent to execute those plays? And you want to say yes, but when we don't execute them, then that means no. There's a lot of factors into why we're not great at coming back from behind. So then it could be a continuity thing as well. And so we utilize so many different pieces on the offense. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, that throw to Ray McCloud, as pretty as it was, like, it probably was an underthrown ball if that was Danny Gray. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it's weird how it's more of the continuity, and it's unfortunate, but that's kind of how it is. It's a bunch of stuff, but I think that continuity of having the same players on the field, doing this, doing that, getting used to the throws, this is that, and the third. That's kind of why we're just not going to we're not able to gel. Will it ever happen? Possibly. And I think it will, the more that they have to play from behind. Usually the 49ers aren't playing from behind. But I don't care about that. I'm more worried why we can't score no gosh darn points in the second half. What is going on with that? That's the issue.
And so I'll say this. It's very clear why the 49ers traded what they did to go get Trey Lance. And I think, Shanahan and the 49ers saw, okay, we need another quarterback, whether it's because of health reasons or because, we want this Josh Allen type. We want this Herbert type. We want this Mahomes type, whatever. They targeted that and went and got it. We haven't seen it. Why have we not seen it? Back to what we said beforehand, Shanahan won't play rookies. So the first year, he just sat. All right, cool. Second year comes out, takes way too many hits. Now he's injured. I don't want to give a full evaluation, and I am as far away from the fire Shanahan crowd as you could possibly be. I don't believe in that at all. You've been to 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl in the past 3 years. You're staying put, but it doesn't mean you don't criticize. There's issues there. I want to see what Shanahan and Lance will do eventually. I don't know. It's an incomplete grade as a former teacher. You got a big eye because we're 2 years in and we still ain't going to see it. Next year, that's going to be he's got 3 starts. Cooper Rush has more starts this year than Trey Lance has in 2 years. And
Whole
so
career.
that's rough. Jay, what's up, Jay? Appreciate the gift. He said, would we have won with no drops, penalties in the fall? I'd say we win without the fumble. You just take that one play away. I think the 49ers won that game. That one single fumble from Jeff Wilson was everything. It decided everything.
Everything.
And it's not his first time doing it either. He has huge. I said this in my breakdown. I think I would have put that dude on the sideline. I'm telling you right now.
And
we
then
saw him do it to Breida.
Went right back to him, yo.
Yeah.
Like, look.
I would have put him on the sideline. I ain't doing that crap, man.
At some point, you gotta chastise your players. You gotta. I don't care if they grown men. You gotta do it. You gotta make a statement, Kyle. You can't be everybody's mother freaking friend, bro. I'm sorry if I'm being angry right now. Actually, I'm not sorry because I'm tired of effing losing. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason why this team should be losing, even with the injuries. John, this team, even with all these injuries, are good enough to win each and every Sunday because they're well maintained. They got a great game plan, and they just got to go out there and execute. Yep. That fumble right there changed the whole momentum of the game. I don't care if Atlanta went down and scored on the first drive in 8 or 9 plays. They had like 13 plays, to be honest with you, 13 plays or whatever. I don't care about that. 49ers would have been able to counter back, and they were on their way driving. It was a 3rd and 1, and he couldn't convert. Not only did he not convert, I bet you that was the offensive line too. Not only didn't he convert, he fumbled. Now, I went back and watched it. I thought his elbow was down.
It was close. The angle was hard to get a close view.
I got a picture, John, and the elbow was down before the ball came out.
We ain't getting a call, man. I went in on the offensive breakdown too. The spotting, we were talking about it at the game. Terrible job from the officials. Terrible holding call.
I didn't do my breakdowns yet. Okay,
I want to focus. Let's focus on us. I love this comment from Devin. Shout out to Devin. Great man.
What's going on, Devin?
He says, we used to go with a hot hand at running back. Now we're refusing to change out for bad matchups. I agree with you. Again, that goes back to the two things that I want to do. Go with the people that are hot.
Kyle is contradictory. He's the most contradicting head coach I've ever seen in my life. And he says one thing and does something totally different, but that's Kyle Shanahan. That's who he is. That's who he's always been. I don't think he ever really meant he would go with the hot hand, period. For some reason, he goes with who he loves or likes, he goes with who he trusts. That's the issue.
Why trust him? Why trust him?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not saying he shouldn't get yards. I'm saying whenever you have a running back that gives up the biggest play of the game, not the first time he's done that in the last 3 games either, and you just don't allow anybody else. Shout out to Master Chef. It was awesome hanging out with you in the business.
Yes, it was.
Dude, generosity, bought us some drinks, man. That was an absolute pleasure meeting you, man. He said, good afternoon, fam. Kyle needs to stop breaking. Yep. Let it go, man. Calm down.
Here it is.
Relax. Let those shoulders go. Troy, appreciate the gift. Do we always seem to play down to our opponent? This right here. If I had to give an assessment of the 49ers, I said this on the previous show today. The 49ers should be 5-1. I think the 49ers should have lost this game to Atlanta. They should have beat Denver. They should have beat Chicago. They dominated those games. I felt like they were a little bullied in this Falcon games because of injuries, but whatever. The 49ers record right now should be 5-1. But here's what's crazy. Still in first place. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And we're ahead of where we were last year. But how many times can you hope on a comeback where you win like 5 out of 6 down the stretch and all those things? I don't know. But we do play to the level of our opponents. There's no doubt about it.
Or hope that the other teams lose, like when you lose. Like I don't want that either. Like our mentality, we got bullied in this game. All right? We got absolutely bullied with our own medicine. And it's not like they were breaking like 7, 8, 9, 11 yards. The biggest runs were from the quarterback. Like those were the biggest runs, right? We were just totally unexpected, like unprepared for that. My thing is, how are we always unprepared for the mobile quarterbacks? Like, what is going on? I don't care if they are rookies back there. I got you. I don't understand. And for D'Amico, I need you to be more prepared, bro. There's no reason why there shouldn't have been a spy in this game. Knowing he's going to get quarterback plays, he's going to get runs designed for him. He's going to get runs. And yes, he's going to scramble.
I think the biggest thing I saw on that was he's blitz happy this year. He is blitzing like a crazy person. And because of that, he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar a couple of times. He blitzed in, and sure enough, Mariota saw it and was able to run away from the blitz, and those were the big gains. I thought that 3rd and 12 was the second biggest play of the game, where he scrambled and got that first down. That was huge. Shanahan said that was the biggest play of the game, but I think the fumble was number one. Huge gap. That 3rd and 2 play, that was huge. But you're right. What's going to happen? Kansas City Chiefs coming in after a loss. We lost. Something's got to give. And I don't want to look ahead too much because I wanted this just to be about where we are now and how things feel. So before we get out of here, Wayne, I know you got business to take care of. What is one thing the 49ers offense, defense, special teams are doing that you really enjoy, or that you're like, man, I feel like they're hitting it perfectly with this? What is a positive thing? Because I want to leave this show
for sure
with something that, all right, this is going well.
And I love that because, I'm super optimistic when it comes to our team because, like I said at the beginning, I really think this team can win every single game. I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care what the mountain is that they have to climb. I guess the one thing that I love that the 49ers are doing is it's hard to say, but I think you can start to see the chemistry flowing from the offensive side. And even though they're not putting up a bunch of points yet, I still think that breakout is going to happen at some point. You're starting to see Jimmy be more accurate on his shorter throws. You're starting to see him take the shots down the field, accurate shots down the field. I mean, he had some that were high. He had some that were off. But you're starting to see that they're willing to take certain chances. I love that because at some point, Jimmy is going to have to win you a game. He's done it before, once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
He's going to have to do it. And that's going to alleviate some of the pressure on the defense. It's going to alleviate some of the pressure on the other people on the offense. And I see it trending up. I know that the results aren't there yet, but I need you guys to hang on faithful because I'm going to tell you right now, you can ask Peachy John. All I kept saying was, Peachy, the beginning of the game, the 49ers failed to get into a rhythm, and it was because they just were off-kiltered. They couldn't get into a rhythm. I said, watch them come back and get into a rhythm, and they did exactly that. And if you guys are worried, the 49ers scored 14 unanswered points.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why Kyle Shanahan said what he said, before I jump off here, that biggest play of the game was the 3rd and 13. Because the 49ers were about to force another 3 and out. They had just finished scoring a touchdown. And then they left a big drive, big gash, big gain, another opportunity for Mariota to get that ball in the end zone. And that play right there, that was the biggest play of the game because the 49ers were trending up. The momentum was shifting even after the fumble. The 49ers, and then after that, they came back out in the second half. They tried to take the shots down the field, fell flat. And it was just bad clock management, bad this, whatever. But I think the 49ers are trending up. And so Troy said that they look down to their competition. Good. I'm glad you think that way. That's the way I feel, Troy, because guess what? They're playing the top of the top. And I guarantee you, even with injuries, this 49ers defense and this 49ers offense is going to be a game, the blood game. It's going to come down to the end. And I guarantee you the 49ers come out victorious.
I freaking love it. Oh, guaranteeing a win.
Guarantee it.
I love it, man. Hold them to it, people. Hold it to it. Raymond, thank you for the gift. He says we can still win the big one. I agree. I think the preseason has hurt. Players are just starting to get in football shape. This game will wake us up. I truly believe we can go far. I do too. I really do. I still see this as a playoff team. There's going to be a lot of these head-scratching moments. I think that's where we are. And look at Jay. This is exactly what I was going to say. Appreciate the gift, Jay. He says, our O-line, especially Banks and Burford, big surprises. Listen to this. The fact that 2 out of the last 3 games, the 49ers have allowed 0 sacks. That's crazy to me. So Chris Forrester, now, is our run blocking where it should be? No, Brindle is not a good run blocker. He's not a good player. I do think that he had a bad game again, but it was his best game so far this year. But the fact that Jimmy's not getting hit, he's not getting sacked. A lot of that, I do think Jimmy Garoppolo's pocket mobility has increased. His pocket awareness has increased. There we go. Niner Gang says you guys are very optimistic for that crap performance we put out there. So, man, we said like 5 negative things and only 2 positive things. But I am optimistic on this team. Why? Look at the rest of the NFC. Look at the rest of the NFC. Are you optimistic about the Bucks? No. The Cowboys? No. Rams?
Yeah,
God, no.
you got to look at the bigger picture,
context.
Yeah, you got to look at the bigger picture. And I feel like once we come together, once our team gets in sync, and once they form that Voltron, then y'all going to stop talking about crap this, crap that, and be back on the bandwagon. Like, that's what it is. So they're going through adversity. Kyle, the head coach, has to figure it out. It starts with him. Once he figures it out, oh, you know what? Let's scrap this, y'all. Let's go ahead and let's play some football. What? That's it. That's probably all it takes. It's for him to say, come on, guys, go out there and play football.
Now, this one's huge. Slick says, don't forget that McGlinchey is injured now, and that sucks. I don't know how long he's going to be out. I will tell you this. Daniel Brunskill was freaking awesome. Daniel Brunskill was freaking awesome.
At right tackle.
He was great.
Well, guess what? Mike McGlinchey, if I'm not mistaken, did he have the second highest rated offensive grade?
McGlinchey was playing great.
He was playing really good. And pass protection, too.
And so did Jalen Moore. Like, that's another thing. Again, back to this. Offensive line is playing great.
Without Trent,
without a lot
who
will
be back, which is good for us because remember, I told y'all that they have to get into this continuity. They have to figure out how to play together. And now you bring back Trent, you get him back out there. Now your depth is better. Jalen Moore got some snaps. If something happens to go down, he has the confidence. I came out here and I graded high. I played well. I could do this. Like, that's what I'm saying. So there's no, in my opinion, the O-line is not the weakest link.
No.
The weakest link for the 49ers offense is execution. That's it. That's the weakest link.
I like it. I think you said it right, man. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Clayton, are there any big ones that we missed that we need to get to? We're good there. I want to say thank you to him and just thank you to Wade, man. We've done the Rush road trip when Wayne's there and when he's not there. They're 2 different events. And shout out to the amazing Peachy. She was incredible, man. It was so cool hanging out with you. Appreciate all that you brought to the community. It was awesome. So Wayne, love you, man. We got to get you out to more. That's just all there is to it. So it's what it is.
Make it happen, bro.
All right. Anything you want to say before we bounce out of here, man?
Now, you guys got to stay up and stay faithful. Like, that's all I'm asking. Yeah, you can talk. If the team is playing like crap, you can absolutely get that off your chest. That's what we're here for. We're here for you to vent. I just feel like even in this last game, John, as crappy, like Deion says, as crappy as we did, we could have still won that game.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Got to sync. It's just got to mesh. And it just
got to mesh.
Take time. It's going to take time. Do I think the 49ers are going to win out from here? I do not. Do I think the 49ers are going to win the NFC West? I do. And that's okay. Every single season has ups and downs, just like games do. And if you allow all that trash in, guess what? You're going to have a terrible season. You're going to have a terrible time because that's what you're focusing on. What comes in matters. And so protect that. Protect your fandom. It's okay to listen to all those other shows and have fun and add the entertainment. And it's okay to get pissed. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Ride the waves. But don't go too far either direction. This legitimately was a negative-based show where we talked about 5 to 6 things that we think they're doing wrong. We focused on one thing that we think they're doing right each, and that's okay. We're going to see where it goes. And lots of film breakdown, which Wayne's going to do, we're going to do as well. We're just going to keep grinding. So, Wayne, thank you, man, for your time. Appreciate you, everything you do for this community. And the Celtics suck, and I think that's where we're going to leave it.
They better than the Mavs, dog!
Yeah, wrong. Love it. Yeah, none better than the Warriors. Shout out to them. Tip of the hat. Get that ring today. And until next time, we end the show every time this way. Stay strong, faithful.